Welcome back, Forgotten Family. This is After Hours. Here is where we will delve deeper into cases previously discussed. To do this, I will go over different scenarios, tell you my thoughts and opinions on what I think happened, and highlight something we can learn from these horrible tragedies. Before we get started, I would like to take a moment to show my gratitude for my tier We're More Than Friends, We're Family. Emily, thank you for your pledge. Because of people like you, I'm able to improve my podcast and keep this going. Please know that you are appreciated. Now, let's move on to Cortney Lake. Usually at this part, I would go over scenarios of what could have happened, but I think we're all on the same page for the most part. That Philip Smith picked Cortney up, took her to some unknown rural area, killed her, and then hid her or disposed of her in some way. A question that comes to mind is, does someone else know what happened? Did Philip confide in friends or have anyone help him that might know where Cortney is? I question this because there was a report where the police were pleading with people who investigators believe have withheld information in the Lake homicide investigation to come forward. This makes me think that although investigators can't tie anyone else to her case, they highly suspect that even if others weren't involved, that they know what happened and maybe even know where her body is. In a perfect world, I would want those people, whoever they were referring to come forward and speak to the police or family. If for some reason these people can't find the courage to express what they know, why can't they find a way to do it anonymously? Cortney's family just wants her back, and I'm sure they would appreciate to know what happened. There are so many avenues that someone could express that they know information anonymously, so I don't understand why they wouldn't want to provide that piece to her family. Moving on, really, the most important question is, where is Cortney? I looked up the St. John's area in Newfoundland on the map, and I have to admit the area is extensive. Canada is just overwhelmingly rural. There's forests and bodies of water and mountains. There are just so many places that she could be, and I couldn't even begin to hypothesize where she might have ended up. I thought the same as investigators when they went to the area of Philip Smith's cabin where he killed himself. I thought that area would be a good possibility, but since the search didn't yield any clues, I was at a loss as well. I think something important we can take away from this awful tragedy is that it really highlights domestic abuse and even gives those who have never experienced it get a glimpse of the life of someone who is living in a relationship experiencing domestic violence. Domestic abuse is all about power and control over another person. You can see Philip's escalations, first with arguments, then the physical abuse when he assaulted her, then the emotional abuse when he distributed her nude photos, then the psychological abuse when he called her home 33 times and drove around her neighborhood. He wanted to control her, and maybe when he realized he was losing control, he couldn't cope with that. So he had to take back ultimate control by taking her life. I know people have asked, well, why did she get in the truck? The only way I can try to explain is that she was the victim of an abusive relationship. In abusive relationships, the abuser is an actor, a master manipulator. That person will try to always say the right thing to get back in the victim's life, whether that be apologizing or promising to change or using a victim's weakness as leverage to gain control. In Cortney's case, in the past, he used her addiction against her to lure her in. He would offer her cocaine and she would come and realize he didn't have anything for her, but by the time that she realized that, she was already there. This proves that Philip Smith is not opposed to lying to get what he wants, which at that time was Cortney. There was a news report talking about Cortney's disappearance where her mom Lisa spoke and said that on the day she disappeared that Philip Smith wanted to give her back her hand-painted Christmas ornaments. Previously, he had set her belongings on fire in a box in his front yard, but the Christmas ornaments were missing. He said, if you want your Christmas stuff, I will come and get you. You come to my house, we'll go through it, and I'll bring you back. Cortney cherished these ornaments, and she wanted them. I'm speculating now, but maybe even though he physically harmed her in the past, maybe she never thought that he would go as far as to seriously harm her, let alone murder her. They had gone back and forth for so long, and the only thing I can think is maybe she didn't realize what he was capable of until it was too late. Domestic violence relationships are complex and painful for the victims and those who love the victims, including friends and family. It's important for the person who is in the relationship to decide what is right for them. As bad as you want to help your loved ones, friends and family have to realize that you can't save the person or fix the situation. As a loved one, all you can do is express your concern, offer support, talk about a safety plan, which would be a plan in the case a victim decides to leave, how to go about it safely. and try to refer them to people who can help. With all that being said, it's important not to give up hope. On average, it can take domestic violence survivors 7 times to leave the relationship before they leave it for good. As a loved one, if it's safe for you to continue offering support, believing in them and being there without judgment can play a huge factor in helping them stay safe or feel empowered enough to finally leave, when they're ready, of course. When it seems like all hope is lost, try to be that light in the dark. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open.